G'day guys, welcome back. I'm playing with some Mont Marte paint again today. The 2 litre Student Acrylic Mont Marte. It's a really hard bottle. I'm not impressed with the bottle, but anyway, I'll have to go with it because I can't squeeze it out to get it into my cups. It's a bit tricky. Oh, it does come with a pumpy thing, but it doesn't seem to work for me very well. Now, I've been playing around with the consistencies of the Mont Marte because it's a bit thicker than what I'm used to with the global. This one I did 65% glue, 35% water, and I did 1.5 parts pouring medium to 1 part paint, and I really like that. This one I thickened up a little bit. I used 40% glue and 60% glue, 40% water. So it's a little bit of a thinner mix, 60-40. But then I used 1-to-1 paint. Cells are a little bit small, I guess. Maybe. What do you think? I think I'm liking these bigger cells a bit better. Anyway, today I'm going to try a third one, and I'm actually going really thin with my pouring medium. Look, 50-50, 50% glue, 50% water, 1 part paint, 1 part pouring medium. So these are really quite thin. Leaves a little mound, just a tiny mound. So, but I'm just going to see if having a thinner mix and just flooding the surface maybe can give me a better result. So we'll just see. I've tried lots of different variations and I like experimenting, so I'm going to have a play. Spot on treadmill silicone 4 cells, and I'm just going to do 3 drops in the colours. As you can see, I've got lots of white. It's not really a sandwich pour today because I'm not doing white on the bottom and then white on the top as you would if you're making a sandwich. But I'm just kind of separating my colours. Now you guys in the States know of Smoky Mountains. I don't really, but it sounds lovely. And I heard Karen talking about Smoky Mountains the other day, and I thought, oh, I'll see if I can make some kind of smoky colours. These are not bright colours at all. They're all kind of a smoky kind of a colour. I would call them smoky colours, kind of just not bright colours. And then because they're mountains and rocks are brown, I've thrown in some raw sienna, but the rest of them are just, this is like a bluey grey. I made all these colours, so I can't really tell you what they are. Bluey grey kind of a colour. The raw sienna, that's made like that. Then I made like a purpley colour. Again, it's a smoky purple colour. It's not a bright purple. This one you may recognise. This is my dark greeny blue that I usually make. So that's that one. And then I made a charcoal. So I haven't got black. I've just got charcoal, which is black with some white in it. So those are my colours. Righto. Move my paints out of the way. And I'm going to go with something on there. I'm going to go with 7 flip cups. This is a big canvas. This is a 40 by 80 centimetre. 40 by 80, what would that be? 16 by 32, I think. Because when I do my 30 by 40s, it's 12 by 16. Yeah, so 16 by 32, which is a pretty big one. I'll probably only be able to get 2 layers in because I've got so many cups. Oh, look at that. I've used more than half of my white already. I'm going to have to be careful. I've got a little bit more white in my cups than I do my colours. So just a little drizzle of the blue. I'll see if I can get 2 layers. So basically I want it really quite pale and quite smoky. Oh, see, that was nearly all of that now. Oh well. Some might have less colour in them. No, but look, I don't mind if it doesn't have a big thick layer. I just want to see if I can have a smoky kind of a pale look. So I'll put a little bit less paint in the rest of them and see if I can make the paint last. It's quite thin, it's kind of falling through. But I just want to see if having a thinner mix is easier. Normally I like the thicker mix, but that's on a smaller canvas. You know, it's easy to cover. When you go to these big guys, we tend to have a bit of trouble. So I'm just seeing if I can make it a bit easier to do the big canvases. Doesn't really matter if the colours get blended a bit because we're going for kind of a sandwich look, but it's not a sandwich pour. A sandwich pour is, as I said earlier, when you get your white on the bottom, which is your bread, and then your fillings, and then your white on top, which is your other slice of bread. So I'm going for lots of stripy striations today. That's why I'm doing the 7 flip and drags. So if you do less cups, you might do, you know, 5 big cups, I guess. Whoa, this one's feeling thinner. Or I just put a big blob on. You've got to go easy. You've got to go slowly with your drizzling. Otherwise, it does tend to just fall straight through. Sorry if this is taking a bit long. Feel free to fast forward. And now the charcoal. The white Mont Marte paint I find is quite thin. I've actually had to mix it up thicker. The colours are 1 part paint, 1 part pouring medium. The white, oh, it's nearly all gone. The white is 1 part pouring medium to 1.5 parts paint. I had to add like a big dollop of extra white. Because it wasn't leaving a mound at all with 1:1. And I know it's probably not going to because it's such a thin mix. A pouring medium is 50-50. I started out with 70-30 and then went to 65-35, 60-40. And just seeing how it's going to go, really. I hope I've got enough to go around. That last one's... Oops, no, you're not going to get any blue, sorry. No, you're not. I'll give you something else though, okay? Make up for it. And I'll just have to move you into the middle a little bit, I think. Okay, 1 down. Should just go this way, shouldn't I? Then I can go straight through my cups. Now, which one's a bit empty? Some of them are always a little bit emptier than the others. Hopefully this little pop of brownish tone will look nice in here. Bit of earthy tones. They're all kind of earthy tones. Yeah, nothing bright today. All just toned down a little bit. Let's see how that goes. So I've got 1200 grams of mixed paint here, which is normally quite adequate for this size canvas. But I'm thinking because the paint is a little bit thinner, that it may really quite spread out quite a lot. But that's fine, isn't it? As long as it covers. Because you really don't want to have to stretch your paint too much. So I may even cover pretty much the whole canvas and then torch, because when you're doing a big canvas, trying to cover everything after you've torched and brought up your cells is quite tricky, because you do tend to overstretch your cells. So I'm just trying to see if I can make it slightly easier for these big canvases. It's got to be a way of doing a big canvas. If you guys have been following me, you know I've been doing some really big canvases, and trying to get the cells to stay in shape like a little canvas, it's hard. It doesn't work the same way. You know, you can think that you're ready to move on to a big canvas, but doing something like those little ones that I showed you before is relatively easy compared to taking that exact same ratio and going to a big canvas. It just doesn't work. It's really hard. And I've scrapped so many canvases over the years, you know, learning how to do a big canvas, because they're really hard. If anyone's done any huge canvases with cells that have remained nice and round and independent of the other cells, I'd love to see them. But yeah, very, very few and far between are big canvases with nice round cells that I've seen. But I do like a challenge, so I will maybe do a few little experiments and see if I can get to a big canvas without losing shapes. If you've got quite a thick mix and you cover your whole surface and then you torch, your cells will stay really quite small because of the resistance of the paint, I guess, around your cells. Whereas if you do a thin mix, cover the whole surface and then torch, then your cells, when they pop up, they've got a little bit more like elasticity, some less resistance on them, so they can actually move around a little bit more, can't they? Now this one is missing a couple of colours, so you can just go in the middle there because you're going to be the odd man out. Righto! I'm just going to move these two paintings out of the way that I showed you before. Love it. Move them out of the way so they don't get paint all over them. And let's start flipping these babies. I haven't sprayed my cups. I figured that they're going to flow out pretty easily because the mix is so much thinner than what I would normally do, so I didn't bother. I just went for it. So go right up to your edge, right up to the top, so the top and the edges are already covered. Go as close as you can. Try and space them as evenly as possible. I don't like to leave blobs. I just smooth them out. Sometimes this paint will kind of hit a blob and separate around it. I don't like that. Oh, I'm getting cells where I've swiped with my finger. All right. Hope this turns out nice. There's a lot of white in here. I don't think I've done one like this before with such smoky, earthy tones. Actually, no, I tell a lie. This one, I can see it in the corner of my eye. You guys that have been following me will probably recognise these. Rocky Mountain. I did two of these. The mix was quite thin. You can see that there's a lot of cells and they're all kind of joining together. One was Rocky Mountain and one was something else mountain. I can't remember. So I guess they're similar colours. Again, not really bright in your face colours. So that's them. This one's a little bit darker. But these were my Rocky Mountain. Oh, this was Rocky Mountain and this was Rocky River. That's right, I remember now. Rocky River, Rocky Mountains, and then hopefully this guy, if he works, he'll be Smoky Mountains. We just pop these away. So yeah, love those two. They make a beautiful set. But again, you know, they were just earthy, natural colours, not your bright blues and your reds and oranges and things like that I tend to do. Righto, enough gabbering, let's do this. When you do your drag, imagine that you're pulling your cup right back here to the end of your table. So if you think about that in your mind's eye, that you're going to go right to here, then you're going to pull fast enough. If you think, oh, I'm just going to stop here, you'll tend to just stop your paint there. So imagine yourself going right over the edge there. Okay, here we go. Ooh. And I'm just going to pop a little bit of this back on the corner. Not that there's much left, that's pretty empty. Ooh, look at those colours. Righto, let's go. It's not actually that much paint in these cups. They were, what, half full? So I really do need to imagine that I'm coming right off. Otherwise I'm not going to have enough. You go pretty fast. There's the bit of purple, look at that. And then just at the end, slow down. There's a little bit left in that one, so I can just pop it there. Cells coming up straight away, which is an indication that my mix is not too thick. Hello, brown. How now, brown cow? See, there's a little bit left. I'm really not leaving much in the cup. They're spinning out really quite fast. Ooh, that one's pretty too. Can't see what I'm doing. All right, that'll do. Plenty of paint. Don't use your little leftovers and go through the center because you're just going to have a muddy stripe down there. We've got plenty to tilt. That'll cover these gaps up. And you don't want to have so much paint that you don't have any gaps. You need to be able to level it out, like, you know, thin it out in those gaps. Now, I'm not even going to turn this because I'm really happy with that. It's even. It's easier, I think, to do lots of thin stripes than do one like big cup, especially if you only get to here with your cup, and then you're in all kinds of trouble. Now, I need to go back and forth to cover these big areas. That's the hardest thing to do. You are being difficult. Yes, you are. Move. I don't want to move it too fast because I'm going to lose this off the edge and that hasn't gone through yet. So just got to keep moving it very carefully. See, that's touching up and that's not gone over yet. So just got to be really careful. Trying to get everything covered. Okay, there we go. It's kissed up. And I'm over on this side. Now I just have to get over on this side. It's just gone over. I do want to keep a sense of stripes. Doesn't matter if they're a little bit wavy, but I do want to keep a sense of a linear effect. Right, so my sides are done. Now I'm going to go left and right towards the end there. So just try and make sure that your sides are covered first. So once I've done this one side, I'll turn it around and then I'll torch. So I'm just, as you can see, just holding it, zigzagging back and forth. Now, if you find that one section's gone over like that, but the rest hasn't, just use your finger and wet the canvas. Don't just tip everything over at once, because that really won't work. Just wet the canvas. And then go again with your zigzagging. Just take your time. Now this area here doesn't want to move as much, but we're just going to have to take our time. It will go over. May just lose a little bit more paint than what we were expecting, but I'm just going to go over to this corner here. And as I was going for that corner, that went over. See, you didn't even notice it, did you? A lot of times that will happen when you're heading for one corner, the rest will just cover because it's gone on an angle like that and it's just covered. Well, it's a bit brighter than what I was expecting. I was expecting more of a muted tone with all that white in there, but we'll see what happens. Now, let's see if I can turn this around. Whoops, I just got that on my shirt, didn't I? Yep. Always take your hand around because you probably got paint on your fingers. Always go around. Let me just wipe paint off my shirt. Oh, I have to put this in the wash today. Oh dear. Right. Oh, where's my torch? Now we are ready to torch. Up high, be careful of your torching, not too much, not too close. See what beautiful cells will pop up through all this gorgeousness. So you can see already that the mix is thinner because there's quite a few bigger cells that have already popped up just on their own before I even torched. So that's an indication that the mix is thinner, but that's okay. We'll see what happens. The whole idea is trying to cover this canvas with pretty cells. And if your mix is too thick, you just can't do it. You just can't do it. Now this may just take me a minute or so of torching because it's big canvas and I've got a lot of area to cover, so just bear with me. I got a bit close there. Got a couple of caterpillars coming up and a bit of a colony. Just got a bit close. Concentrating. I've got to concentrate here, otherwise I get too close and then I ruin it. So I'm just going to concentrate on what I'm doing. Come on, cells. Thought that they would come up faster with such a thin mix. I'm surprised that they're taking so long to come up. It's acting like the mix is quite thick, but it's not. Actually, maybe it's because my white, I mixed my white at a higher ratio. Could be. But if I didn't, it was so watery, it didn't even leave a mound. Maybe I'll have to try that next time, just keeping my white at 1:1, because I did mix it thicker. See over here, this white haze is acting like it's quite a thick haze, but it hardly leaves a mound at all. This is the way the white is. Maybe I need to leave it at the same ratio, the 1:1, or maybe just 1:1 and just a blob of white extra instead of making it 1.5 to 1. I honestly thought that such a thin mix, the cells would be much bigger at this stage. Weird. I'll try that with my white next time. Okay, now we'll just have to get down there. Sides are done, so again, walk it left, right, as you're heading down. And you're better off not just going straight down because your cells will just go long. You need to make your cells go left and right as well as down at the same time. That way they'll go round. So left and right. Go over the edge there, over the edge over here, to the middle. Now I'm going to go over to that corner there. Gone over. Oh, it went over. Oh, not quite. Not quite. Does look rocky, doesn't it? Now, I'm not going to turn it around because it's too hard to turn, but I just need to bring the weight of the paint back to the middle. I'm really quite surprised actually, you guys. I thought these cells would be huge. Must be the white. I must have to make the white thinner. But what do you think of the colours, hey? And because the mix was so thin, it's more of a, you know, natural looking rather than having my defined stripes, which I get when I have quite a thick mix. The mix was thinner, so it's more, it did flow more easily. I might actually take a little bit of paint off down here. I've got plenty of paint. I'm just going to zigzag up and down and take a little bit of paint off this end here. Just to open up the cells a little bit. There's a bit of a blob down there. I can get rid of most of that. And then come back again into the middle. Again, if you're going to move your paint, zigzag it. Okay. I think that is done. Don't know if I'm loving the colours, but hey, it's, you know, they're not my usual colours. I was going for a smoky muted look, and that's what I got. Smoky muted look. What do you think? Do you like those colours? I think that's about it. Just going to take my gloves off, fix up my sides, and then I'll take you down for a close-up. Because I haven't moved this twice, I've got matching colours, pretty much matching colours where the paint's fallen down. I'm just thinking, you know, if I made my white thinner, the colours might blend a lot more. I may not have very defined colours. You can see how they're, you know, they're blending and starting to muddy a little bit. So if I made my white any thinner, I think I'd have a hard time with my colours blending more and muddying more. It's done. Put a bit of paint on that corner. Yeah, that was relatively easy to do, to cover everything. Still got quite a lot of cells. I probably over-torched in hindsight. Probably did over-torch a little bit. Just trying to match my colours here as best as I can. I think I like all the colours, maybe not so much that purple through the centre there. What's that? That'll do. Add a little bit of mud. It was looking a bit muddy there. That'll do. All right. Yeah, so what do I think of it? What do I think of it? I think my cells are probably a little bit small still. My colours may have blurred a little bit because the mix was so thin, 50-50 mix. But hey, I covered it all and nothing is terribly overstretched. So I'd rather have smaller cells than, you know, overstretched cells. Let me see. One of my previous ones. This is one of my previous ones with same size, with global. Just looking at the shape of the cells. Yeah, I think these ones today are a little bit more rounder. If you look up the top, can't really, closer to me at the top there, there's some quite overstretched cells there. They're never the same, are they? Never the same. Alrighty, let me take you down for a close-up. You can see what you think. It's so much easier to do a little canvas though. Look at that, you know? So much easier. And the cells are perfect. They're beautiful and round, but as I said, you go up to a big surface, a big canvas, and it's just, it's hard. It really is. But those colours are, do they look like Rocky Mountains? Don't know. Smoky Mountains, not Rocky Mountains. Rocky Mountains was the one I did a while ago. So we've certainly got some smokiness in here, haven't we? With all that white that I had. Got a little bit of blue and a little bit of brown, a bit of the purple there. Greeny blues. That's charcoal. It actually looks quite brown, doesn't it? I guess the charcoal with the raw sienna has kind of gone to a darker brown, and then with the white it's lightened it again. There's lots to look at. It's very interesting. It does look like rocks, doesn't it? Does look like mountains, smoky mountains. Got some of the purpley hues there. Okay. Oops, that's as far in as I can zoom. It's a big one. I can only just get it in my screen there. There we go. Oh, there's a light in the way. There's always a light in the way. I'll stand over here and then get rid of the light. Okay. That will be it. Hands trembling a little bit, sorry. I think I need to eat something. All right, that'll be it for me for now. Hope you've enjoyed that. Let me know what you think of a thinner mix like this, whether you like it, whether you don't like it. Show me if you've done big canvases and your cells have stayed nicely shaped and round. All right, thanks for watching. I will see you for the next one. Bye for now.